Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. Oops. That's pretty loud. Let me close. Sorry about that. But tonight, let's talk about another institution, a giant one. In fact, right under BlackRock, Vanguard, the second largest asset manager on the planet with over $7 trillion worth of assets. Guess what they did today? Well, they bought $500 million worth of Bitcoin mining stocks. So that means we have another institution jumping in. Let's talk about this huge occasion and what else is going on in the world of crypto today. Let's do this. Welcome, 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 guys. Bitcoin is still holding, but it is ready. I talked about a squeeze this morning. That squeeze is happening right now, and we will see a big movement soon. And I believe it's to the upside. I mean, you just have to read the room. Right now, the room is very bullish indeed. But first, I want to show you guys something. Something that happens with banks all the time, yet nothing really happens. Look at this headline. Bank of America fined $150 million for consumer abuse, including fake accounts and bogus fees. Okay, so the bank charged multiple $35 overdraft fees for same transaction, failed to properly issue rewards to credit card users, and signed up customers for credit accounts without their consent. These sound like very, very illegal things. Very illegal things. Yet, all they have to do is pay a $150 million fine and life goes on. Like nothing happens. No one is being thrown in jail. Okay? Basically, they get slapped in the wrist saying, oh, you did something wrong, you got caught, so you got to pay a little fine. I mean, think about if this was Coinbase. Imagine you replace Bank of America with Coinbase. It would not be a $150 million fine. It would be like Coinbase is halted or shut down because of, consumer abuse, right? So think about how the rules don't really apply for the banks, okay, versus everything else. The government, the Fed, FDIC, every agency out there is looking out for the banks, trying to make sure that they stay in business, and they're not go try to shut them down, okay? I mean, seriously, like these are pretty serious charges, and no one is being fired, no one's going to jail. This is not even $1 billion fine. It's just like $150 million, which to Bank of America is actually like real chump change. It would be like $1,000 fine for like you and I, right? Something like that equivalent, maybe even less, maybe like $100 fine. And anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because this is why a lot of us are in crypto, because we believe in something that isn't so controlled or manipulated or protected by the government, because they're looking out for themselves, not for you, not really. But yeah, just want to start off with that. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, seriously, replace Bank of America with any crypto company and they would be halted and shut down. Okay, but speaking of Coinbase, those of you guys that have been paying attention, Coinbase stock has been flying through the roof recently. Even after being sued by the SEC, their stock went up to like 90-something dollars today. Not an all-time high, but they've been recovering really quickly recently, right? And that's because there are 5 Bitcoin spot ETFs that have listed Coinbase as a surveillance partner, and CBOE's BZX exchange also formed an agreement with Coinbase. Basically, this is the stars aligning. Basically, this is the precursor to spot Bitcoin ETFs being improved in the US. There's really no more arguments that the SEC can make about why a Bitcoin spot ETF shouldn't exist or be approved. Even the prior SEC chair, Jay Clayton, came out and said, well, This was the big difference between futures ETF and spot ETF, and it has been resolved, right? And now you have like BlackRock's and Van Eyck's and Fidelity's of the world that are all applying, okay? So I think this is going to be huge, absolutely huge, and puts Coinbase in a really good position. Think about it. Coinbase is suing SEC, and SEC is suing Coinbase. In fact, tomorrow they will go to court, and there will be a pre-motion hearing about all this back and forth, right? But think about it. What ammunition does the SEC have, okay, against Coinbase when Coinbase has all the allies now? You know BlackRock is going to support Coinbase. You know Fidelity and all these other asset manager and fund managers, they're going to be supporting Coinbase. If Coinbase was not trustworthy, why would they choose them as a surveillance partner, right? So it adds the ammunition for Coinbase. Like, SEC can't really say, well, you can't trust these guys, right? Like, oh, you know, they purposely, like, misled, I don't know, projects or retail investors, whatever. You can't say any of that. Coinbase has done it by the book, okay? So this is good too. We want to see the SEC lose some cases. Of course, they're in a battle with Ripple. They're in a battle with Coinbase. They're in a battle with Binance, right? These are going to be tough battles to win. These projects, these companies are not going to fold like some of the smaller projects that can't fight. Coinbase certainly has the ammunition and the money and the backing to do so. So again, this is also very, very positive. You got ETFs, spot ETFs coming, Coinbase winning the lawsuit, right? And today you have, like I said, the second largest asset manager on the planet, 7.2 trillion, only second to BlackRock. So think about that. They are absolutely huge. They just bought $500 million worth of mining stock, Riot and Marathon, okay? If this is an endorsement, I don't know what is. Basically, they're like, hey, we're going to dip our toes in. We see everyone else jumping in. We certainly don't want to miss out on a train, and this is probably just the beginning. They probably have a spot Bitcoin ETF coming, right? They're probably going to be a custodian. They're going to be something and something and something like everyone else. Everyone wants a piece of Bitcoin. So this is also very positive. This is what I've been telling you guys, okay? These big boys, they're coming in. And when they come in, they buy billions upon billions upon billions of Bitcoin. So make sure you reserve some of that for yourself. Because once Bitcoin becomes a global asset that everyone wants a piece of, it's going to be too expensive to stack any sats then. Let alone like one Bitcoin. Even sats will be expensive. Right now, still reasonable. In the future, when Bitcoin is above $200,000, $300,000, $600,000, $1 million, that's when it's going to be really hard to be stacking, right? But right now is still the time. Tim Draper also thinks so. Tim Draper still believes that Bitcoin will hit 250,000 by the end of 2025. Now, he previously declared that it was going to happen in 2023, but he said he misjudged because of all the FUD between the SEC and everyone else, right? He misjudged that, but he still believes that Bitcoin will reach $250,000 by the end of 2025, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of people know that is the end of this current cycle, this bull cycle. Okay, and that's when things get really, really bullish. And if you think about everything else that's happening, right, in addition to everything I just mentioned, but you think about everything else that's happening with even the macro environment, which I know a lot of you guys don't pay attention. I do cover macro stuff a lot. But if you think about, this also correlates with the macro conditions improving. You know, all the rate hikes and everything from the Fed and other central banks, that's all going to end in 2024, right? So if you look at that, that's also going to be very positive for the tech sector, and for crypto. So it's all aligning. That's when the halving event is also happening in 2024. That's why second half 2024, 2025, it's going to be crazy. We're going to see money flow into the space unlike anything close that we have seen before. The dollar amount this time around will be so much higher. It's unfathomable where things could be just in a couple years. It's going to be fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Okay. What else is fantastic? Well, there's just a lot. Hodl waves, which shows, supply of Bitcoin being held. Okay. 30% of the supply is being held by holders that's been holding for 5 years, 5+ years. Okay. And it just, everything just keeps on going up. The reserves keeps dropping. The holders keep increasing. The number address keep increasing. The hash rate keeps increasing, right? These are all very, very positive. Here's another example. In 2020, Coinbase had 1 million Bitcoin. 1 million in reserve. Now has dropped to less than half. Okay, and we're not even in a bull market, or not the very end of it, start of it, right? We dropped more than half within 3 years. Now imagine 2 more years, end of 2025, that number may be down to 200,000. And others will follow too, right? Supply is going down very, very quickly. We're back to 2017 levels. We continue this, we're going to go back to 2015 or 2014 levels. And I don't know what's going to happen when Bitcoin does reach 2014 levels in terms of reserves, when it's super scarce on the exchanges. My only guess is the price is going to be a lot higher, way higher than it is now, right? So think about that. All right. What else is there? The only other 2 things I want to talk about. Number one is there was some controversy today over this one project that I still can't verify whether this is true or not. But Binance decided to launch the token for Arkham. And some of you guys have heard of Arkham before. They're an intelligence company that allows people to buy and sell on-chain data. Now, Arkham is controversial because previously they reported some bad data that actually crashed the market. I remember that. I don't remember what specifically they said, but it was monitoring some wallet that was mislabeled and actually crashed the market. But anyways, they decide to launch. They're doing this in conjunction with Binance, right? And you needed to hold BNB in order to be able to buy some Arkham, right? Up to $15,000. But then people started looking into Arkham, and then they think there's some ties, okay, with government agencies, because the CEO, Miguel, you know who he likes to follow? He likes to follow agencies like the CIA and the FBI. So there's a lot of connections there, at least loose connections, of whether or not Miguel is working for the CIA, first of all. And second, if not, is he working with the CIA or FBI, right? And if neither of those things, is he trying to make decentralization less decentralized by offering his services? So there's a lot of controversy going on around Arkham today. That's kind of like a nutshell what has happened, and I think others have talked about it, try to make this association. I don't know if it's true, but he's supposedly he's going to do some Twitter Spaces to discuss these questions. So we will see. We will see if this is true, right? So that's the other thing. Lastly, I wanted to have some fun with you guys. Okay, we know that AI is big. ChatGPT is huge, right? But they closed down their internet access recently. So I looked up the next best thing. Google's AI called Bard, right? And I thought it'd be fun to ask, what would be a better hold, Bitcoin or gold for the next 5 to 10 years. So let's see what Bard has to say. Bard, if you had to choose one asset to hold for the next 10 years, which one would you hold? Bitcoin or gold? No surprise. According to Bard, if I had to choose one asset to hold for the next 10 years, I would choose Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a limited supply, which makes it a scarce asset. Okay? The scarcity could drive the price of Bitcoin in the long run. Fact. Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning it is not subject to government or financial institution control. It makes it more secure asset than gold, which is susceptible to government confiscation or manipulation. Fact. Bitcoin is portable and can be easily transferred anywhere in the world, which makes it a more liquid asset than gold, which can be difficult and expensive to transport. Fact. Bitcoin has intrinsic value as store value. That means it has value in of itself regardless of its use as currency, although we know that the Lightning Network can make Bitcoin into a great currency that could be used day to day, right? Bard knows what's going up, what's going on. I thought that would just be fun to showcase. All right, let's do some Q&A. Bard, in case you don't know, is the AI project from Google that is competing with ChatGPT. It's Google's version, and it's free to use. You don't have to pay for it. It's actually pretty good, too. Pretty fast. All right, let's see if I missed anything on top. Another George became a member. Or no, he's been a member for 11 months. It just came up. George, thank you. Thank you for being a member for almost a year. Gold supply can be raised according to Zach. That is true. I got a handful of BTC according to Merck. Congratulations. That is very difficult to do. Why is DeFi lending protocols going back up? You know, whenever people feel bullish, they feel more, they act upon their greed. So I'm assuming more is borrowing, putting out a collateral and borrowing and utilizing that to buy more crypto. What day of week does your TikTok video start? I'm guessing you're asking about the contest. It started yesterday already. There was a video yesterday. There was a video today. So if you're trying to win that $10,000 from me and you're trying to guess that weekly secret code word or words, right, you got to start watching. The videos are already out. In the 1930s, the government took people's gold supply and forced them on fiat. Look it up. Go try to take my BTC. Yeah, I know that. I know that. Robert Kiyosaki shares that story all the time. As unbelievable as it sounds, they did that. You know why? Because the government wanted to print more money. Back then, there was a ratio. You could only print so much based on how much gold you hold. So the government confiscated everyone's gold because they needed to print more money. But now, these days, you don't need to do that anymore. The Federal Reserve can print unlimited amount without holding any gold. Fiat is not backed by anything. So I think the gold standard was taken off in the 70s, right? But that was the reason why they confiscated all the gold, because they actually needed a reason to print more money. Unlike now, they just press a few buttons on the computer and boom, we have more zeros and that's it. Cool interview with Altcoin Daily. Yep, that was a good interview. I like Austin a lot. I know they're traveling in Europe right now, having a great time. But I'm hoping that they will show up to my Vegas event, and Austin is thinking about it. But yeah, good guys. Bard told me to STFU and buy more Bitcoin. Well, I think that's the right answer. I was also on Sin City Crypto today. We had a good chat. We talked a lot about CBDCs, and I said there was nothing good, nothing positive about it. And I know David was trying to play devil's advocate, but I shut him down. I'm like, there's nothing good about it. There's no need to defend it. It will be forced upon everyone, but it's not good for citizens at all. It's good for banks and governments, but not good for people. And again, another reason why we need to hold something decentralized like Bitcoin. Bernie says, Bard chooses the first asset mentioned in your query. No. If I said the same thing again, it would not choose gold. All right, so here. I'll put gold first or Bitcoin. It still chose Bitcoin. Let's do something fun. Let's do Bitcoin or Litecoin. Bitcoin. Yeah. So Bard knows what's up. It likes Bitcoin better than Litecoin. All right, let's do Bitcoin or Ethereum. Ooh, it chose Ethereum for the next 10 years. Why? Ethereum has a wider range of potential applications than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is used as a store of value. Ethereum can be used to power dApps. Ethereum has a larger and more active developer community. That means there's more innovation happening. Ethereum is more scalable than Bitcoin. It can handle more transactions per second, making it attractive as a mainstream payment system. Well, those things are true, although there are things being developed for Bitcoin right now to overcome some of these challenges, but it's true. All right, let's do something fun. Here, let's do Ethereum versus XRP versus Ripple. Oh, it chose Ethereum over Ripple. No, see, that's not right. Ethereum is more scalable than Ripple. No, Ripple can process more transactions right now per second than Ethereum. So that's not right. Ripple is more scalable than Ethereum. Let's see if that changes things. That's not entirely true. Both Ripple and Ethereum have their own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to scalability. Ripple's claim to scalability is that it can handle 50,000 transactions per second. However, this is based on theoretical maximum throughput. In reality, the average TPS of Ripple is much lower, around 1,500 transactions. Yes. Ethereum scalability is more limited, with the current network only being able to handle 15 transactions per second. But, however, Ethereum is working on a number of scaling solutions, such as sharding and state channels. That's actually surprisingly accurate. But as of right now, Ripple is more scalable. But, yeah, it seems like Bar just likes Ethereum better. All right, let's do Cardano or Solana.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want it.
I was not supposed to play that. Choosing between, oops, I did the wrong camera. Choosing between Cardano and Solana is a difficult decision, as both cryptocurrencies have their own strengths and weaknesses. All right, that's a cop-out, so I'm going to force it. You have to choose one. It chose. I forced it to choose. It chose Cardano. Cardano has a long-term vision, has a strong community, and is a good value. Wow. Wow. So Cardano wins. All right. Someone says, who would win in a fight, in a cage fight? Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg? A few factors. Size and weight. Elon Musk is much taller and heavier. Musk is 10 years older. Martial arts training. Doesn't say. If your life depended on it, who would you choose to win? Haha. Elon. If my life depended on it, I would choose Elon Musk to win in the cage fight against Mark Zuckerberg. See, Bard is smart. As I mentioned earlier, Musk has a physical advantage over Zuckerberg, being taller and heavier, also known as a fitness enthusiast. This will give Musk an advantage in terms of stamina and endurance. Additionally, Musk has been known to practice boxing, while Zuckerberg has not. I don't know. It doesn't know that. Of course, there's a possibility Zuckerberg could win the fight. I think Google just hates Facebook more than it hates Tesla, so that's probably the reason why. Yeah, Elon is like 50 pounds more, if not more. Elon, I'm thinking, is like 225, and that's conservative. He might be even more than that. Mark is like 150, so I think it's more like a 75-pound weight difference. But yeah. Anyways, that was fun. Overall, Bard likes Bitcoin over everything else except Ethereum. It likes Cardano over Solana. And answer some of these age-old questions in crypto. And it believes Elon is going to win in that fight. All right, guys. That is it. Overall, stay strong, my friends. Coinbase is doing well. Bitcoin is heading much higher. Vanguard is getting involved. You know, greater days are coming. Okay? So, smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care.